What's up? Welcome to Transformational Sundays. Now, today is Mother's Day, so I won't be too long. But as promised, here's the beginning of Transformational Sundays, and I'm just going to have a really quick conversation today of kind of wetting the beak a little bit so you can understand where you are in your life right now, the type of mindset you have, okay? So last week, was synchronized perfectly. The moment I thought about doing this thing, somebody that I knew so well, who I was in the conception of her idea of creating this product naturally by herself, which at the time when she thought about it and when we had this conversation about it, it seemed like something so far-fetched. It seemed like something crazy, like, oh my gosh, this is impossible. But through good guidance, through resilience, through committing ourselves to listen, this thing, it might seem impossible. Most of the people around me might think I'm crazy, but crazy is usually the best. She stepped forward and she took all the necessary steps. And last week was something that was out of this world to see her product hit down in another country. And that was just beautiful. So that was a perfect inset for me to say, yep, this is something that I definitely want to do, okay? So today's Sunday. I want to start how I start with everybody that I ever talk to. I want to know, and I want you to think about this. What type of mindset do you have? Because there's some people in this world that are structured a particular way, not because it's in their DNA, it's because it starts right here. So what do you believe? I always ask this question. What type of mindset do you have? Do you have a growth mindset? Or do you have a fixed mindset? Now, everything that I'm going to say in the next couple of minutes has no judgment whatsoever on anyone, but this is a fluent conversation for somebody to stop for a second, look at their own reflection in the mirror, and figure out, you know what? Chances are that describes me. And do I like it? Or do I not like this version of myself? Okay, if I don't like this version of myself, these are the steps that I can start. The most believable step to change this version of myself, to elevate this version of myself, to see what the experience on the other side feels like and if it resonates with me. That's all this is, okay? So a person who has a fixed mindset is somebody who just believes that, listen, everything that they already know how to do, that's all they know how to do it. They are not capable mentally. They convince themselves that they're not mentally capable of learning, of elevating, of leveling up for anything new. This is what they were born to do, and this is what they're going to continue doing. And I remember I said this before. If you say you can't, you're right. And if you say you can, you're also right. Because whatever information you feed yourself here, it's correct to you because this becomes your perception. Do you understand what I mean? So I can have a conversation with you and you can decide in a minute to say, you know what? Maybe I can. And immediately what you do in that moment is start to change how you programmed your mind to think that you could not. Now, people with a growth mindset are people who are always reaching for something new, always thinking of a way of evolving, of leveling up, of bettering their self, of being one step ahead of the game all the time. Now, this is good and it's also bad because if you're not structured and you're not committed, then you're going to be a jack of all trades, not saying that you should master any, but a jack of all trades, not settling down enough to focus on just perfecting something and putting a package together with all these creative structures and skills that you have. So let's start right there. So I want you to think about it. Think to yourself, what type of person am I? Have I been settling for the past 10 years? Just go back that far. Have I been settling in the past 5 years? Do I wake up every day going to a job that I really, really, really don't like? Maybe that's happening. What have I done in the past 10 years to change this? Have I thought of anything to level up? I want you to ask yourself this question. And if you're somebody who's been doing so many things in the past 10 years, how have you elevated with all these new skills that you've been acquiring, of everything that you've put in your fingers in? Have you put everything down and decided, listen, I'm molding this together, all these creative crafts that I have, and now I am ready to go out there and deliver a package to somebody? I want you to think about that, because that is very important to anyone in business these days, okay? Most people focus on, I call it this way, most people focus on the water droplets. Water's dripping. Instead of paying attention to the grand ocean that's there, and you're so tunnel vision that all you're looking on is the water dropping, and you find it impossible. But if you should open your eyes and open your ability to adapt to the new paradigms, to the changes that comes in the world, then you will realize, oh my gosh, there is a great infinite possibility of so many things that I can do. All I have to do is just focus on what comes natural to me. And this is the next thing I usually say to people. What is that one thing that people always bother you about? That you get so annoyed you're at work and your family and your friends are calling me and say, listen, what's the recipe for that thing again? Remember, you do it really good. Or somebody's always calling you up to help them to fix something and say, listen, I got to get furniture. Can you help me? Most times, and I've seen this happen over and over again, most times our creative greatness comes so easy to us that we don't give it ratings at all. We just don't think that we could ever do this thing. So we stay in a box of unhappiness, of settling, and not thinking about it to say, you know what? I'm a really good baker. And I'm going to start from my garage or from my kitchen and whatever it is and just test the waters out. You know what? I am really good at interior designing. I'm going to start my own. It doesn't have to be a website. You know what I mean? You can just do a link tree. And I just want to start with one client. And the first client I'm going to have, I'm not even going to charge them. I'm just going to do something just to get wet. Or the first client I'm going to have, I'm going to give them 50% down. And I'm going to take pictures, and this is where I'm going to start from. It may seem crazy as heck right now because maybe it is something that you never thought you could do. But sometimes crazy is good. Sometimes it is good to extend yourself so far out that nobody else around you see it. But it is something that comes natural to you. Some of us are good at farming. Some of us are so good at putting things together. Some of us are good creatively, digitally. We are so good at these things that people call us every day freely. And we give them advice on this, but we don't think, maybe I could. Well, maybe you can. Take the next believable step today to do something that's creative for you, to level up, to get certified. Something you always thought about, but you say to yourself, I've been a nurse for 10 years. What's my husband going to think? What are my children going to think? They're going to college now. I could not possibly do this. Well, yes, you can. If you have a growth mindset, if you make a decision today that, you know what, I'm really not happy in this, but I'm not giving it up this minute. But what I'm going to do is extend my tentacles today in the creative world, because you know what? I can be an entrepreneur. I can start this salon that I always wanted to do. And even if you can't do here, if you have the resources to start your own salon and set up these stations, that's passive income. You're setting it up and you don't have to do a thing because people are coming in to rent those stations. It doesn't matter what you do. You love to take pictures, start a studio. Choose a niche market, whoever you want to do. This is for kids, this is for couples, this is for graduation, whatever it is. There's so many things that you can do, but I want you to stop. Just today, the first week of Transformational Sundays, I want you to identify where you stand in this world. If you are happy with what you do now, kudos to you. Do you feel that you could do a little bit more? Do it. Because what I believe in is this. Most people that I will meet right now in the world, they would say to me, I'll be happy when. Are you a happy when person? I'll be happy when I get the lottery. I'll be happy when my kids graduate university. I'll be happy when we're in retirement. This is no judgment, but I have to be honest with you. Happiness starts here. Not tomorrow, now. Because if you're not happy with ground zero, with yourself within now, if you hit $100 million tomorrow, the happiness will not come from that check. The happiness will not come when your kids fly the coop and you're home alone with your husband. The happiness does not come when you hit 60, 65, 70, or you're going to retirement. If you're not happy within now, my belief is to enjoy life every single day with whatever you have, living within your means, and always excelling to say, listen to me, I can do the impossible because I am possible. And not being scared and not being fearful to say to yourself, listen to me, I don't think I can. But still, you sit on your phone every day and you watch other people doing these things that you want to do too. How do you think they started? They had a mindset that told them, yep, I may not have the money now, but you know what? I believe that if I take the next believable step now, and it could be as simple as writing it down on paper. Get a pen, get a paper, write it down. I have action boards. People call it vision boards. And every year my vision boards have changed. Because somehow, I don't know how to explain this to you, but I always say beyond the surface, there's forces working that I can't see, but I can feel it. Because I can feel the pep in my step. When I put something down on paper, I actualize it. Because I think it, I write it down, and I set an intention. So every year I have to change my action boards, my vision boards, because I have to take them off because it's been accomplished, this thing that I wanted. And I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. And then I realized this was being set up from as far back as years ago. When I start to synchronize the steps, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I talk about God because I'm spiritual. I always say, God knew this from as far back as 5 years ago. This thing that I am actualizing now, that I'm benefiting now, that I am successful in now, I can stop and look back at that one person that I met and that thing that I bought and that place that I went, that synchronized everything that is happening now just because the thought was here. And I decided, listen, I have a growth mindset. I'm not settling ever. And I actualize it on paper, on a vision board. And it's as if it started to grow from that seed without me thinking about it or worried about it or being fearful either. I just set the intention down. And all I did every single day was take the next believable step always. And that's where I want you to start today in Transformational Sundays. I want you to stop for a second and just reassess your life and see if you are okay with where you are in your life right now, in your family aspects, in your community, consciously, in the social setting that you have, this bubble, these people are around you. Are they people who are setting you up or breaking you down? Are they people who are draining your energy? Or are they people that every time you go around them, you just feel pumped up and want to go more? These are things that are very important to your success in life. And what does success mean to you? What is the perfect day for you? If I should give you a magic key right now and say, listen to me, this key opens any door that you want to. What is the perfect life for you look like? What does it look like? And you can close your eyes. You can do this practice anywhere and just stop for a second and say, you know what? And write it down or think about it. And then say to yourself, you know what? What do I need to let go of right now to take me there? Because your conscious self knows this. But we're so busy looking at everyone else's life, we never focus on the things that we need to do to actualize truth in our lives. So the first episode of Transformational Sundays is really to assess yourself to see if this is something ready for you. Are you ready to transform yourself? Are you ready to level up? Are you ready to just do something that scares you? But it's okay. Because you're not giving up anything today, you're adding steps. Like Jamaicans would say, add a pep in your step. You know what I mean? Because this is all you need to do. So for me, I always say this. Every challenge is not something to stop you in your tracks and say, listen to me, I can't go any further. Every time you're faced with a challenge, please understand that there's a lesson in this. Stop for a second. Do not get scared. No matter what the challenge is. You went outside and the car won't start. As simple as that. Just stop for a second and say, you know what? What's a lesson that I need to learn from this? This job that I just lost. Because if you just lost a job and you're beating yourself up about it, it means that the universe is telling you there's something greater out there for you. Do you understand what I mean? So in every challenge, understand that there's an opportunity there somewhere that you're not seeing. So acknowledge the experience that you're having now, even if you feel as if you've hit rock bottom, and understand that there is a redirection here somewhere. I am at a stoplight, and I know there are people, their light is on green, and they're going, but my light is on stop, and it's going to change soon. But before it changes, the reason why I'm stopped in my tracks is because I need to reassess this thing that I'm doing. Ask yourself this question: how do you want to go forward? Do you have a growth mindset? Do you have a fixed mindset? Do you think it's time for you to level up? Do you think that you're settling? Do you feel joy in your heart when you wake up every morning going to this thing that you call your hustle or your job or whatever it is that becomes true to you? And if you're not, don't beat up on yourself. Just say, you know what, God, I give gratitude for where I am right now, but I am ready to step forward, taking the next believable step to becoming an evolved me. Do you understand what I mean? And that's your lesson for today. That's your lesson for this Sunday before you get ready to go out to work today to start your business tomorrow. Maybe there's something that you've been thinking about that you've been so scared and fearful because you're worried about what everyone else is going to say. They don't have this. They don't have the intuition that you have. They don't have the power. And for the first time in your life, instead of focusing on the water droplets, you're looking way out there and you're understanding the potential of the ocean that's out there for all of you. There are no limits. It's infinite. So, you want to be a serial entrepreneur? You can. Everyone can. Don't just look in the small circle that you have and say, but there are no buyers here. Are you kidding me? You are going to create a service, a product, a package from somebody who's sitting down right now wishing somebody would. That's all that you need to focus on, okay? I want you to understand that depleting your power in keeping yourself in a box never helps. It doesn't help you. And please do not be out there seeking happiness outside in this world. Don't seek happiness from anyone else either. It has to come from you. So when you're done watching this video, I want you to look in a mirror, whatever mirror it is, and say to yourself, girl, what am I going to do to level up? Boy, you know what? This is something that I always wanted to do, and I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to take the next believable step, and that is just sitting down quiet to yourself, thinking about something that really makes you happy. Go back as far back as your childhood. What are the things that you used to love to do? Some of us used to love playing teacher. I guarantee many teachers can tell you right now, listen, that's all I used to do when I was a kid. I taught everybody. I taught the chairs, the trees, everything. And there's somebody else who's going to say, you know what? I am top chef. I was chef for this. I was chef for that person. Now I have my own chain of restaurants. And they used to cook mud and sticks and everything else until they could go in the kitchen and really start to experimenting. I'm a mixologist. It sounds like a beautiful word, but it's a thing. It's you reinventing yourself and just doing something creative. So if today's Sunday, on Mother's Day, you can go back as far as your childlike self, just try to remember, or ask your mother, or ask your auntie or your sister, what did I used to do when I was a kid? Start there. Write it down. And trust and promise yourself today that today is my first day of transforming my beautiful self to something that allows me to feel whole, finding my truest potential and taking it to the next step until there's no other ladder to go up, okay? Times are going to come when a lot of jobs that are out there now will become obsolete. So I leave you with this today. Try to think outside of the box, and instead of doing what the education system is doing now, trying to pack everything inside the brains of these kids, instead of allowing their creative expressions to come out, allow yourself to expand on your creative intuition, something that is just tangible for you, that allows you to feel at your happiest, whatever it is. And allow the energies, allow the universe, allow yourself to synchronize this and make it a reality, okay? Now, I'm going to leave you because it's Mother's Day and some people are probably going out to dinner, going to a party, enjoying yourself. whatever it is you plan to do today, I want you to hug yourself, and for wherever you are in your life, whatever possession you hold, wherever you are, whatever you're facing, even if you feel as if you're hitting rock bottom, understand that other people are also doing this. Other people have also been there, done that, and they have always elevated, because there's nothing on this earth that is flat. It is a revolving door. So if you are facing something right now that you feel is the worst thing in your life, start reassessing yourself. You're either being protected or redirected to something greater than anything you could possibly imagine. Write it down. This is your first lesson. Write it down and just think about it for a second. Pray on it if you have to, and see how you feel next Sunday when we start to actualizing the next steps for you. Now listen to me. Transforming yourself is all that you can do. Protect your energy, because that's all you can do, and only you can do it. And happiness starts from within. So start loving yourself, my beautiful queens and kings, and understand, if serial entrepreneurship is what you want, transforming yourself is where it starts. Okay? Have yourself a wonderful Sunday. Until next time.